Hello, Libra. Thank you so much, as always, you guys, for being here. Okay, Libra, so looking at your second week of December, you pulled that death will come, healing, and alone in the world. There's a couple of different things going on here, but let's just get into the cards. So first of all, that death will come. This is talking about understanding that you have this lifetime to make the changes that you are wanting to see. It also talks about living life every day with meaning and with purpose. And I feel like this is a reminder that, if you feel like the healing that needs to take place within you is not something that can happen within this lifetime, this is the reminder that yes, it can. But then there's also this, why are you waiting for something? And that's because of alone in the world. There's this acceptance that happens there. But it talks about waiting for something to come back. And it also talks about solitude. Now, for some of you, yeah, it could be that you need to take a moment to yourself to do, whatever inner healing you need to. But I feel like for some of you, it's more about the walls that have been built up around yourself because of painful experiences that may now be blocking out certain experiences that, are meant for something better, right? So now healing. It says, there are many ways in which you can be proactive about your quality of life and the choices you make. Preventative measures taken now, be they physical, emotional, or mental, can prevent more challenging problems in the future. For those who feel without hope, countless lives have been healed by the sincere animation of prayer and meditation. So it really is about the choices that, you are making to kind of create this healing. And I think that the reason why, like I said, that this is like the reminder or the message that's coming through for those of you who are dealing with this is because there's something that's being blocked out. You may be waiting for something that really is just a reflection of the past and the past pain that you may have experienced. So, alone in the world, it says, in solitude I stand, in solitude I may shine. And then the sentence says, I made my home a cloister, my heart a chalice for the faintest breeze, and yet I stand alone. And it talks about waiting for something to come back. It says, it's shrined into a blessed feeling of longing and desire, innocence and hope, but is also entombed into a well of solitude and distance. It built walls to stall the passage of time, and the walls kept out everything. Will the prince come, or has the world gone silent while we waited? And then it talks about waiting is a transition. It has a beginning and an end. It says, waiting is the night, morning brings the sun of a new day. I really feel like this is going to be for those of you who are missing out on certain experiences in life. But that is because there are walls built up around you because of the pain that you've experienced. And there's this message now that, hey, right, you may be letting your life pass you by, but it really is up to you to do the healing that needs to be done. And like I said, for some of you, it may be that, it is time to kind of like stand back and give yourself a moment of solitude just to kind of do, whatever inner reflection. And very specifically, inner reflection on where you are blocking things out because you do not want to feel any more pain. Which, I get it, right? Like, I understand where that's coming from, but you're blocking something that I think you are meant to experience that's, for a more meaningful purpose. You're overall the Four of Wands. That's beautiful, right? So celebrating a new foundation that's being built. So a feeling of accomplishment here, but this is the beginning of something new. In the past, temperance. I always find temperance interesting when it comes in from the past because it immediately says to me that, whatever you were dealing with, you have had to reserve yourself, be patient, and find inner balance. So, the other part of this, though, it may be that whatever you have dealt with, you may be doing the whole patiently waiting, right, for it to come back. Meanwhile, trying to maintain balance. For others of you, though, it may be because of your ability to hold back that now something better is being built. You know, it's almost like whatever you've dealt with, you could have been reactive, but with temperance, you're not doing that. Yep. Okay. So in the present, the hermit, and again, right, that solitude kind of comes into play here in this inner reflection. And this may be you kind of like asking yourself, what have I been waiting for? You know, you may have been kind of like dealing with a different situation and at the same time waiting for something different to come in. But what you have dealt with may be putting you in a place right now where you're kind of questioning on, you know, where it's taking you, if that makes sense. But we'll see what's going on here. But inner reflection and solitude, right? And it makes sense with alone in the world. Okay, so future conditions, the Ten of Swords. This, I feel like, is, you know, you may have been waiting for something to either come back or for something to change. But regardless, whatever you were dealing with, there isn't this reaction that's taking place. It's more of a being more reserved and trying to maintain your own inner balance and peace. But it's leading you to a place now where I think you're beginning to realize that that situation is either over with or needs to be over with, because this is like reflecting on where, you know, your situation has left you with temperance, but then leading to the Ten of Swords, right? It has to be over. But by doing that, for some of you, if you are deciding to end a situation, it's leading to a different foundation that's being built for you here with the Four of Wands. And this is a good thing. But there's something that you know that is going on within you that may be causing pain that has to come to an end. Your best path to follow, the Ten of Cups. Yeah, right? So, like, this could be for those of you who are dealing with difficulties within relationships in the home. For others of you, this is really about, you know, looking at where these situations have led you, and it's like it led to nothing but pain, and I need it to be over with. And then your advice is saying to focus on, you know, what the end goal looks like. What does that happily ever after look like, right? So really needing to focus on your emotional fulfillment. And by doing that and looking at, you know, what that star is in the lantern, what that looks like long term, I think is also going to help kind of create this, you know, better stable foundation for you, where you're not, you know, continuously dealing with situations that are causing you pain and you're like, I just want it to be over with. And your environment, the Nine of Pentacles, right? So there's this feeling of security, you know, for yourself in your material world is what I feel like here. But we're also talking about independence, right? And being able to enjoy your life and enjoy what you've worked so hard for. That is the Nine of Pentacles. But there's this kind of like financial security and independence that's happening in your environment. And you may be looking at possibly, you know, taking your path alone for a while. But, you know, there's that reminder, though, that the purpose there is to create healing. You don't want to build up that wall so much that you're blocking out other experiences. But I'm getting this feeling of like, you know, I just kind of want to be alone right now. Like I can handle things on my own. And then there's also this kind of feeling of maybe I would be happier if I were doing things on my own. Now, that doesn't have to be just relationships. It could be that, you know, your work situation has caused you a lot of problems where you're having to maintain this inner balance. And then there's this reflection of, you know, I thought this was the path, but maybe it's not because it's just causing pain. And this may be you becoming more independent financially through, you know, working for yourself, for example, right? But this is like searching within Meanwhile, in your environment, there's this kind of like independence and security that's going on. Now, for some of you, it may be that you're realizing that you don't want to walk a path alone. And that's where this reflection on what the happily ever after really looks like. We get so caught up, I think, in the initial feelings when something is first starting, especially relationships. But we tend to forget to look at what that means long term. And that may be where the advice is coming through. Your hopes and your fears, the Two of Swords, make sense, right? Like this is about a choice that you are making within you. And that's because you are reflecting on all of the past experiences that have led you to where you are right now. The Two of Swords, this is like, I have to make a difficult decision, but I don't know if I can do it. And if I do make this decision, is it the right thing to do? Is it going to lead me to where I actually want to be? And this may be needing to open your eyes and see a situation for what it is, because with the Two of Swords, with the blindfold, it's like ignoring something or refusing to see something. But for others of you, this is just going to be about needing to make a really difficult choice that you may have been avoiding. But it leads to the Ten of Swords, where we're talking about the ending of a cycle that has caused nothing but pain. But this may be what you're kind of like reflecting on, right? Coming out the Eight of Swords, there's something about this that keeps you stuck in the same thought pattern. And the focus here is about building a better foundation for yourself. And then possibly a better connection in relationships, no matter what that looks like. But the Eight of Swords, we're talking about feeling stuck. Some of you may be in a situation where it's been painful and it's over with for you, but it's like, can it just be over with now, right? Like, what do I need to do to separate myself from this, But with the Eight of Swords, I would just be mindful of repetitive thoughts that keep you in the same patterns. Because really, it's about getting away from that, with the Four of Wands being there, right? Like, it's up to you to make the decision to make that change. And again, right, like going back to the Oracle cards. The Queen of Wands is Seven of Swords. Okay. And then the Knight of Swords. Oh, all right. So what I feel like here is that this is almost like a recognition of, the same kind of thoughts and actions that have kept you trapped in these situations that are over with for you, but it's like they continue to create that kind of pain. But the reason why this is happening, though, is because of something happening outside of you. And I feel like there's this confidence that's coming back in you that's, bringing this out in the open, but then also being really harsh and very direct and taking immediate action. And I what I worry about here is that there's two different things. It's either, it sucks because you're kind of stuck with it at the moment, but there is a way out, right? And then for others of you, it feels like the pressure has been built up so much so that it's almost like one situation causes you to completely snap. And that may be where, the door opens and you're no longer trapped in this kind of repetitive situation. So, again, with Temperance and the Queen of Wands, right? Like, your experiences have led you to a place where you're in control of your temper, is what I want to say. But you are not lacking in the ability to be confident in yourself when it comes to expressing how, you feel about you, what you feel like you deserve, and clearly you don't deserve this. With the Seven of Swords, right, this is where the inner reflection is going on. It's like, I'm tired of dealing with deceit and situations where people are not being truthful. The Seven of Swords is somebody who only cares about what they can get away with. The intentions aren't clear. There's ulterior motives that happen there. There's the lies, the deceit. But for you, it's like, I almost feel like I want to say I can deal with a lot of things, but I feel like you've been pushed to the breaking point now, and it's being brought out. And again, with the Knight of Swords here, it's swift, it's abrupt. Now, sorry about that, my phone's ringing in the background. But if you are needing to make the difficult choice to get out of a situation that is over with for you, that has created a lot of pain, this may be like the breaking point, right? Like I keep getting this feeling of like the breaking point. But you're quick to do something about it with the Knight of Swords. But not only that, you're quick to say something. So then the other part of it with the Eight of Swords is, don't continuously stay trapped in the, this painful experience I just went through, all of this bullshit that I've just experienced. Like, the healing has to start immediately. Otherwise, those kinds of thoughts will continue to keep you trapped. And then not only that, it may create a certain way of being that may be blocking out, what you're looking for here, this beautiful, better foundation that's being built where we're looking at long-term happiness, right? Wow, man, this obviously is not going to be for all of you, but I feel like those of you who understand what I'm saying, the feeling. Like I can feel it in my chest. There's this kind of like pain of longing, but then I also feel like the anger in my gut. Like, I'm done with this. Magic. Wisdom. And acceptance. And that is Alone in the World. That's the stage that one is in. So magic, wisdom, and acceptance. When you are able to look at past experiences without judgment, that's where wisdom comes in, and it leads to this acceptance of what is, because then you are no longer focusing on it. It is what it is. Now I can open the door to something else, and that's where magic may come through. And it could be that you experience something that feels like magic to you, that kind of pushes you into that place of the acceptance that needs to take place so that you don't stay trapped with something negative. Look at the bigger picture. And then show the world the real you. I keep seeing this one. It's weird how this one keeps showing up. But, that to me is going right back to the Queen of Wands. The situation may really suck, but, to allow it to affect your inner world, I don't think you're going to have that happen. Like, you're not going to allow that to happen to you. It's not going to devastate you or, affect your sense of self-worth and self-esteem, which is good. The problem is you might feel like you've had to get to a breaking point before that kind of realization comes in. But that's kind of where I'm seeing this. But looking at the bigger picture, right, it's just a temporary experience. And the healing can happen in this lifetime, right? Like, you don't have to let this be something that affects you in every interaction that you have following this.